way that you can stop me from talking is when the likes of Chijoke sent by similar Fubara to stop insulting Wike. When you insult Wike, I will insult Fubara. So today, Fubara is a foolish governor. He's not a new governor. He's a foolish governor. Because since he took office, May 29, he has done nothing for Rivers people. Let the way so when he took office, from the first of office, started Operation Zero Port Hole. From there, he started doing projects. Let the way so in the first 3 months in office, did the Fubara the internal road. Fubara should tell us what project has he done, other than carrying our money and paying bribe to insult Wike. He's paying people to go and tell Abuja that Wike is playing politics in River State, that they are doing kidnapping in Abuja. It means that Fubara is part of those supporting the kidnapping in Abuja because he wants to Wike to leave office. Let's Wike will not leave office. Tinubu is aware of who he appointed. And I'm happy that Tinubu is happy that Wike is delivering in the service of Democrats. They said they will remove me from office. I'm not afraid. So the point is clear. Let the voice on Wike is the pride of the River State people. We are challenging anybody to come and tell us if he can beat the record of the voice on Wike. By the way, our former governor, Sir Dr. Peter Dele, said in a public function that Edeboye Wike has broken all records by all former governors. They said so. So if what they have said so, who is Chijoke who want to say otherwise? And let me also remind Chijoke who Edeboye Wike did nothing to pocket to. Say they want to pocket what? A man is naive. Similarly, Fubara is very naive. That's what governance is all about. If he knows what governance is all about, by now he has taken River State local government by local government. Go and look at Igruta roundabout, by Igruta market, by Neka Road. Death trap, can't move, kidnapping everywhere in River State, kidnapping in Ikwere, kidnapping in Eche, kidnapping in Omok, kidnapping everywhere. He said you're a governor. Foul! Governor, fail!
That is the chairman of Ikwere local government area, Samuel Nwanosike, who by law is under the governor of River State, Sim Fubara, publicly insulting and calling the governor names. What kind of politics is this? What sort of politics are they playing in River State? River State has now become one day, one trouble. In 1973, writer and dermatologist Professor Aneze Okoro published a novel for young adults titled 1 Week, 1 Trouble. It tells the story of Wisin Tabu, a secondary school student who from the first day he got enrolled until he got to the senior secondary 3rd grade had one trouble or the other in what was clearly a process of becoming a self-discovery. 1 Week, 1 Trouble made it to the Nigerian school curriculum and has further become a ready reference for the reckless manner in which Nigerian politicians are drawn to controversies like fleas to nectar. Accordingly, we have had cause to use this phrase to describe the reign of impunity, ego, and chaos that has now overtaken the oil-rich Niger Delta state of Rivers State. If Wisin Tabu got into trouble on a weekly basis, the situation in Rivers State is worst. For the past 3 to 4 months, Rivers has been experiencing trouble on a daily basis, creating a situation that is best described as 1 day, 1 trouble. In a two-handed plot featuring Nyesom Wike, former governor of Rivers State, now minister of the Federal Capital Territory, and his successor, the incumbent governor of Rivers State, Similaye Fubara. The conflict and the drama are classic stuff of godfather-godson relationship in Nigerian politics. As it was in the past, so it is now, and so shall it be in the future, except Nigeria demonetizes its politics, emphasizes the integrity of the people's vote, and insists on transparency and accountability of processes and institutions. More than 24 years after Nigeria's return to civilian rule, the pervasive opinion is that democracy in Nigeria is putative. What usually happens is that a godfather with too much money or influence acquires through control of state resources which he can deploy at will, as in the case of incumbent governors seeking to cover their backs, install a successor through whom he can continue to rule even after leaving office as constitutionally mandated. Or the godfather may be a man of influence whose political wealth is built on the widely acknowledged assumption that he has direct control of critical institutions of state, that his will could override the people's wish. Godfathers in Nigerian politics are genetically delusionary. One after the other, we have seen them exhibiting a messianic complex until they either reminded that they are human, or to human, or they succeed in removing their recalcitrant anointed godson. Between the two polarities is a lot of melodrama, the type that we are now witnessing in Rivers State, and as we saw before in Enugu State between Jim Wobodo and Chimaroke Nnamani. In Anambra State, Chris Uba versus Chris Ngige. In Oyo State, Lamidi Adedibu versus Rashid Lodoja. In Kano State, Abdullahi Ganduge versus Rabio Kwankwaso. In Edo State, Adam Oshomole versus Godwin Obasike. In Delta, James Ibori versus Ifeanyi Okowa. And in Lagos, Bola Tinubu versus Akinwande Ambode. The sociology of God-Fatherism in Nigerian politics is a complex power game and is not restricted to anointed governors. Even lawmakers and local government chairmen owe their emergence in public position to the dexterity of godfathers. This may involve the anointed godson being asked to enter into a covenant to hand over a percentage of state resources to the godfather and his wife every month. In Lagos, they call it Babake Epe. The exponent of Amala politics in Oyo State fell out with Rashid Loloja because, having assumed office, the latter did not see why he should continue to hand over 15% of state resources to Adebuju on a monthly basis. Occultism is also involved. Chris Uba took Chris Ngige to Okija Shrine, stripped to his underwears, to pledge that he will always be loyal to the masses. When Chris Ngige reneged and began to assert himself, Chris Uba released photos from the dreaded Okija Shrine. Chris Ngige did not deny this, but said he went to the shrine with his Bible, his own talisman. This is the level of decay and rank opportunism in Nigerian politics. People will do anything to be in power without working for it, and that is why there are many dumb persons in the topmost corridors of power. We do not yet know what path, satanic or godly, that St. Fubara entered into with his godfather. Was he also taken to a shrine? Did he sell his soul to become a governor? What agreement did he reach with Wike? What code of honor did they both agree to which is now causing trouble? What can be established is that Fubara is a political creation of Nyesom Wike, who made him government house accountant, permanent secretary, government house, and later accountant general of the state. As his 8-year tenure came to a close, Wike decided that Fubara, who had always been in charge of Rivers State accounts, should be rewarded with the biggest diadem, the governorship of the state. During the campaigns, not many people knew Fubara, other than that he was the man Wike wanted to make governor. Wike was all over the place campaigning for him, and he put him in office as a PDP successor, despite his own defiant relationship with the party at the national level. When opposition parties challenged Fubara election in the tribunal, Wike again stepped in. He must have trusted Fubara so much. The big mistake he made, though, is that he is a poor student of history and human nature, now projecting himself as a victim of his own contradictions. His critics have cause to remind him that it is karma at work. Even one Eze, who would never have dared to talk back at Wike in his glorious season as Rivers governor, is now talking. Wike used to tell traditional rulers to shut up publicly, and they would literally shut up and say, "Yes, sir." Relationship between godfathers and the anointed candidate have not always been rosy. In the aforementioned cases, the godson always managed to get the godfathers off their backs. Lodoja fought all the way to the Supreme Court and he was reinstated. Obaseki watered down Oshimolo's influence. Ganduge dumbed down on the Kwankwasoya movement and drove Kwankwaso out of Kano. The later attempt to return is currently the cause of trouble in Kano State. The only godfather that seemed to have survived would be Bola Tinubu of Lagos State. He's probably the most ruthless of all the godfathers. He's been described as a man who knows how to identify and groom talent. But when the same person tries to assert themselves, he crushes them without battering an eyelid. Babatunde Raji Fashola, as governor and Tinubu's successor, had ideas of his own, and he was making tremendous impact and taking credit. He had to be reminded that he could not outshine the master. Somehow he survived. Akiwumi Ambode, a Fulbright scholar, first-class brain who succeeded Fashola, was not so lucky. He was denied a second term because the godfather got tired of him. Nigerian godfathers are not looking for scholars and first-class brain. They want slaves and yes, boys and girls. For example, when Umo Ino, the incumbent governor of Akwa Ibom State, became governor, he, 59, knelt down before Udom Emmanuel, 57, to pledge his allegiance. In Kogi State, after the 11 November off-recycled gubernatorial election in the state won by Ahmed Usman Ododo, Governor Yahaya Bello anointed candidate. He and his elected deputy took their certificate of return to the governor, knelt and bowed before him in a show of gratitude. Nobody knows what the relationship will be tomorrow in Kogi and Akwa Ibom State between the godfathers and the anointed successors. The whole idea of anointment is a mockery of the Nigerian democratic process. Where are the people in all of this? The catalyst for the trouble in Rivers State is perhaps because Fubara showed his hands too early. Within 6 months of assuming office, hair had been let loose, and he had burnt the bridge that brought him to power. Is there a lesson here about the character of God's son in Nigerian politics? When they want power, they are every shade of humility. Gandhi was so humble and loyal, one person could never have suspected him. In Fubara case, pro-Wike actors in the conflict allege that a certain unnamed woman is the one pushing Fubara to fight the godfather and assert himself. Nigerian politics is the strangest theater of the assault, worse than what Martin Escalating, who wrote a book on the subject, taught us. Whatever the woman brings to Fubara's table must be very strong indeed. However, Fubara supporters argue that there is trouble, not because Fubara, an ordinary obedient person, want to burn bridges, but because, as they say in street parlance, Wike own is too much. He's accused of breathing down too hard on Fubara's neck. It's alleged that all the appointees in Rivers State government are directed appointees of the godfather, with express instruction to spy on Fubara and checkmate him. Wike is further alleged, even as former governor, see approved projects and expenditure. Fubara as governor is not allowed to travel out of the state without Wike's permission. His wife is also not allowed to attend functions. State vehicles bought with taxpayer money are all controlled by Wike from Abuja. In the wake of the crisis, 9 commissioners have since resigned from the cabinet, reportedly on Wike's instruction. And as just a look at the portfolio, Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Works, Finance, Special Projects, Transport, Housing, Environment, Education and Social Welfare and Rehabilitation, who else is reporting directly to the governor. The trouble reached a turning point over the weekend when Honorable Boma Godhead, representing Asarito local government constituency, publicly accused Wike of making away with the state resources to the tune of about $300 million that came from share and for fleecing the state of $9 billion monthly. Godhead has called on the Department of State Service, the EFCC and the police to do the needful and arrest Wike. She also has called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to call Wike, his minister, to order. The Wike Fubara, if you Wike me, I will Fubara you. Day your day, nobody worry nobody. Saga has polarized River State along ethnic and political lines. Even if they don't status, the effect will linger. Those who once argued that Fubara was Igbo have now all queued up behind him as a symbol of the Ijaw nation, with the Ijaw Youth Council and the Ijaw National Congress threatening that any attempt to remove Fubara from office will amount to assault on the Ijaw nation. Professor Benjamin Okaba has boasted publicly that Ijaws are not scared of Wike, and if he tries anything against Fubara, there will be the Rivers Council of Leaders and Elders and the leader of the Pan-Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, Chief Ike Clark, have issued statements asking Tinubu to call Wike to order. Honorable Godhead accused Wike of having everybody in his pocket, the judiciary, the security agencies, INEC, the chief of staff, and the president himself. Wike's pocket mouth is very big indeed. I'm surprised how he still managed to walk around with that much heavyweight under his control. He says, however, that he's only protecting his political structures, and Fubara, who never bought a form to become a governor, must stop hobnobbling with his enemies in the state. Fubara says he is the governor and he wants to be respected. And yet, Wike was not always like this. As a Minister of State for Education and later substantive minister in Goodluck Jonathan administration, the Wike of those days caught the picture of a perfect gentleman. The moment Wike became governor of Rivers State, the report about him in the public domain, the controversies that he generated, and the hilarious manner in which he wrote roughshod over the state can only be explained off as what too much money and power does to people. He has become powerful beyond Rivers State. He took over the control of the PDP, the party having lost power at the center in 2015. Wike was the only surviving governor who took it up upon himself to finance the party and kept it alive. Other PDP governors could not be bothered. In 2022-2023, Wike decided to call in his God way, only to be resisted by other stakeholders in the party. He promised that, having not allowed a Southerner to be party's presidential flag bearer, by which he meant himself, the PDP would lose the 2023 presidential election. He divided the party, openly hoped not with the APC, and he had his way. He has been rewarded by President Tinubu for this with the portfolio of the Minister of the FCT. His own party has been very quiet about his brazen anti-party activities. He has dared the party to whip him into line if he can. In the present instance in Rivers State, it is said that he is the main author of the trouble and has led to the reported plans to impeach Governor Fubara and the division of the State House of Assembly into two factions. Fubara group of 5 versus the Wike group of 26. With the former arguing that with the letter defecting to the rival APC, they are automatically no members of the party. Today, there is a lawyer on every street of corner of Port Harcourt interpreting section 109, 1G of the 1999 Constitution and quoting precedent from Fedeco versus Goni to Abegodu versus Ondo State House of Assembly. The judiciary has also been dragged in with reports of forum shopping, leaked judgment and ex parte orders. The State House of Assembly has since been demolished by Fubara government. Perhaps the crisis will be resolved in the long run at the law courts if common sense does not prevail. Certainly not by President Tinubu. Badly behaved politicians should stop calling on President Tinubu to come and help them solve their problems they've created in the state. He's a president, not a headmaster or supervisor. He intervened in Ondo State twice, but the problem was resolved only when the rule of law was obeyed. Rivers people should leave him alone. Kano people should stop bothering him. Go and put your house in order. Do not turn Tinubu into a dictator and then return letter to complain that Nigeria is a federal system. Thank you for watching. Do have a lovely day.